It's like going down a ski hill.
Everyone says that you're supposed to lace in hardwood floor and then sand it all down.
I did the complete opposite.
I don't know if this is gonna work.
Not only have I done it backwards, I actually have to fix a complete valley in the subfloor in order to lay the hardwood floor down. But it's already all sanded, kind of. If this doesn't work, I not only ruined 200 square feet of new flooring, but I will have to do the entire 600 square feet completely over again, or just rip it all out. Let's get into it.
So the plan was simple. Lace in the new hardwood flooring to the existing floor, sand everything together, and make it look seamless. But then I got into it and I started to check the subfloor. It's not level at all, like not even a little bit.
That was not supposed to happen. There we go.
So I picked up some self-leveler and I thought I will just level this part of the floor. But then I read after the fact you're not supposed to use self-leveler underneath hardwood. You're supposed to use felt. Well, I didn't have any felt.
It's supposed to dry fast, so let's see if that's true.
And I needed about 1/4 of an inch, but it was only 2 feet in span. And I'm putting an island in, so I went ahead and did it.
It might not be as soupy as it should be.
I actually forgot my trowel. That was stupid, but that's fine. I have this nice little piece of MDF.
That was the most makeshift, miscombobulated tool selection I had to choose from, but I made it work. It was probably a sign that I should have hopped on Google beforehand and figured out that you're not supposed to do this. Let me know in the comments below if you've had to level your subfloor before installing hardwood flooring. Why don't you put concrete down? What am I missing here? Is it simply because if you nail into it, it has the potential to crack, or is there some other reason? I'm gonna let that dry and I'm gonna have to glue that portion down. I can't nail into concrete. I mean, maybe you can, I don't know. I'm gonna get the glue down as an extra precaution. Half of that will be hidden by the island, but that walking path there, that's the stove, that's the sink, that's gonna be very, very high traffic. It'd be different if it was like in a corner somewhere. Now I'm going to take out all of my pieces to lace in. So these longer ones that end back here are the ones that I'm gonna keep and just start a new piece. These shorter pieces, I will take those guys out, and that way then I can get the new floor laced in. I set my saw to the depth of the hardwood floor, and what I like to do is run 2 lines down the middle because one part of the existing hardwood is nailed down and the other part comes out easily. So if you are able to get that piece cut in half, the part that's nailed in comes out much quicker. I'll show you. Then I attached a scrap piece of oak to the top of the floor, thinking that I could just bang it out, but I completely split the wood. I did this project about 7 years ago, but I forgot how I got the pieces out, and then I remembered that I used a really dull chisel. And taking your boards out is not completely random. I chose the shorter ones because they were easiest to get out first, and then eventually I will choose some longer ones. It's just a big hassle to lace in a 4-foot piece of oak instead of an 8-inch piece.
The cupboards come to here. I don't care if there's a joint underneath the cupboards.
That's fine.
Eventually I do cut them longer because I realized that it's going to blend a lot easier. But I did not lace in underneath my stove or underneath my island.
Damn it, that one's so long too. Why are they all so long? I have 36 inches of room between my island. The island is going to be fastened to the ground. There's going to be a dishwasher in it. I don't care if these joints are under.
This part is super tedious, but there's no right or wrong boards to take out here. You can lace it in as small or as deep as you want to. So even if some of your joints end up being pretty close to each other, take a look at this.
This was already there, and I never noticed it. So
now you can see the vision of lacing in the boards. I got red oak milled up at East Coast Specialty Hardwoods here in Nova Scotia, and once everything is sanded and stained the same, essentially you won't be able to tell where it is. But of course, before I laid down any boards at all, I came into a bigger problem.
It's like not lining up. I don't know if this is gonna work.
See what I mean? Right there, it's like a 16th larger. Maybe it won't matter.
We'll see.
Like a lot too big. Frig. Maybe I can make this piece in there and then lace one in there, and by doing that, it will shove that one over. Does that make sense? Having him stuck here might give me the pressure I need to pull this over here. Let's try it.
how good this is. Look how good this is. Oh, right, I gotta take that off.
I got distracted by how good that first little piece of lace-in was, but essentially I'm going to try and create pressure to push that part of the board over. This is the hardest part about lacing in two different rooms because they're not essentially going to line up. And the little piece that I just cut off is from the old floor. They had a tongue and groove system on either end as well. We don't have that here, so you just need to zip that off. A small portion of it is going to stay inside the board though, so cut off a small edge of the lace-in piece you're going to put in and it will connect perfectly.
Oh yeah, baby.
Great job. And now my issue with this one here being like a 16th large, I'll lace one in here and that should by rights give this pressure to push that in.
Why?
I was really pissed that I just started and I had to go to the shop because I don't have my table saw on site. So I decided to lace in a few other ones just to feel slightly better before I went and did that.
I don't want to, but I have to mill up a new piece, essentially. I have to cut 1/4 of an inch off and then to make a new groove. I'll keep the tongue and then we'll see if that works.
I don't have a table saw at the house. I have it in my workshop, so I just went and ripped this down to be 2 inches and created another groove that way. Fits it all in. That's the tricky part about bringing 2 floors together, like around something. There's a post in the center, so both sides don't line up. You're gonna have to do a couple tweaks.
After all of that bullshit, I think we might actually be getting somewhere.
Magnolia town was humming, smoke lay on the ground. Yeah, Magnolia town was humming, smoke lay on the ground. Ain't no face I recognize, and my baby can't be found.
So I'm gonna jump back to the beginning of this project for a quick second. Let's take a look at where these floors started. They were so bad.
I have a mic! Oh my god! Somewhere.
I also ordered a mic because I'm trying to be a real YouTuber, but I didn't actually figure out how to use it.
Ta-da!
It also did not come with clips. I thought you're supposed to like clip them onto your shirt. Or do I just carry that thing around? Because I think that's stupid. But I started this project with tarping everything off because I was going to sand it section by section, and I rented 2 separate sanders. I rented the belt sander and then I rented an edger. This part of the project was actually a lot easier than I thought. Just make sure that you have a proper dust mask, ventilation, and tarp everything off. Like everything. That one really sucks to use. I don't know if there's a better way to do this.
Magnolia town was humming, smoke lay on the ground.
So the drum sander actually gets in a lot closer to the wall than I thought. When you take your baseboards off, you'll just barely graze the wall, and that's when you stop, and that's where the edger goes in. So you don't have to worry about the burn marks because obviously I left way too big of an edge. Don't do that.
Ain't no face I recognize, and my baby can't be found. I left that place in summer, swore I'd be back by fall.
However they did it.
That place in summer. Swore I'd be
So the lace-in is finished, but there are a few problems. Right here, can you see these dips? That's down quite a bit. So I have to sand that. Over here, where is it? Oh, look at this. This is the piece that I milled up. Whoa! The one that I couldn't fit a piece into, so I had to mill this one down and create a new lip. Well, the new lip that I created obviously wasn't exactly where it should have been. So I have quite a bit of sanding to do here. So I have rented another sander. This one is like a big square orbital. Apparently it's very forgiving. And I'm gonna hit this with 100 grit and hope that it blends with the rest of the floor, and then we're gonna stain it. I'm almost done.
Let's see if I can tackle this. This is the worst part of it. Here, a little bit. Under there, because this is gonna be mounted down as an island, is bad, but it's fine because no one's gonna see that. Okay, this one is already so much easier to use. Watch this. Once I sanded everything down and cleaned the house really well to get rid of as much dust as possible, then I sealed the floors. I sealed them in Osmo's Poly X Oil Raw, and it has a 2% white. So I was able to cut the red of the red oak, and they turned out absolutely beautiful. Let's not forget where this kitchen has started. I'm doing an entire series breaking down every step and every process into a ton of content so that you can do it yourself in your own home. So don't forget to subscribe and follow. I'll see you next time.